Good morning. Buenos días. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for joining us on this, I was going to say bright, but it's not very bright out there, right? So on this early morning for this year's Norwalk Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. This is a beautiful event, and I'd like to thank our City of Norwalk employees and Door of Hope Executive Director, Mercedes Quintanilla, and her staff. Mercedes, right over there. Thank you. Thank you so much for making this event possible. A special thank you to the DoubleTree staff and our servers, because this is a wonderful venue and the service that you provide us is great. So thank you for them. An event like this is not planned overnight, let me tell you. The time and dedication that goes into an event like this, it astonishes me, really. And that's why we must take the time to give all who collaborated in this event a great big round of applause, please. Now I'm going to share a little bit about myself because I don't get to see all of you all the time. So here's my chance to just give you a little snippet about who I am. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, raised by a single and fierce, passionate, funny, honest mother. Mom, please raise your hand. You're over here. And my little sister, Sandy, she's right there too. We've always believed in the power of prayer and always helping others. Even if we had very little, we shared. We were always helping. My mother always took in women who had been having trouble with boyfriends, husbands, whatever. So we always had a full house. We had rice, beans, quesadillas with the government cheese, right? And sometimes we had grilled cheese, but we always shared, and there was always love, and it felt great. It felt great to share, to be able to offer that support. Just looking at Mom. So it's no surprise that I get into community service, that I get into service, and then choosing the career that I've chosen, teacher, and just going forward. So I'm definitely the first, but not the last, to graduate college. We have a close-knit, extended family of aunts, uncles, cousins, tios, tias, nephews, nieces, and we're all very close. We get together and it's all love. After graduating from Cal State LA, I went on to attend National University to work towards my California teaching credential. I've been teaching for 27 years. It's a long time. And you know, it doesn't feel like 27 years, and those in education know, right? It goes like that. Maureen, how many years have you been teaching? 30 years, Maureen, and you look like if it was just yesterday, right? You were 12 years old when you started. It just goes by so quickly. Every year, every day, every week, month, it's just a different experience. And it just keeps you on your toes, first of all, but it gives you energy. And that's where I get it from. So of those 27 years, 21 has been serving this community. You've been voting for me first as school board member for the Norwalk La Mirada School District. And then, that was 19 years. And now as a council member for this great city, for a total of 21, 22 now. Thank you. Now, I've always kept my faith in God and continue to pray. I pray all the time. So when Miss Ruther asked me, will you come to Pray Norwalk? I said, absolutely. I'll go pray with you. I believe in the power of collective prayer. I give thanks for the blessings that we have, and I always pray for peace, because we don't have enough of that. My faith and my prayers have guided me, as well as, I believe, my ancestors, especially my grandmother, Eloise. Today, I stand before you as as mayor of this great city. And I love this city. I love Norwalk. Let me tell you, it's taken a great deal of work to get to where I am in both my professional and community service. My family and I were undocumented until the Simpson-Mazzoli Act, better known as the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, was passed. Before that, I had the opportunity to travel to Japan in high school. I took Japanese for 3 years, and I was so excited. I got home and I said, "Mom, guess what? I get to go to Japan." And she says, "Ay, mija." Always the funny lady that she is. "Ay, mija, well, I guess you can go, but I don't know how you're gonna get back." Right? And I thought, oh my God, that's when it hit, right? Reality. So my first year of college was tough. It's with not having documentation, what have you, the work and whatnot, it was a little bit tough, but we persevered and we kept going, like many of our students and their families now. So I know where you are, and I always try to do what I can to help as well. And I lost my train. Okay, here it is. When you truly believe in making your dreams a reality, like graduating from college was mine, you stick to it, right? You make a plan and you stick to it and you do what you can to accomplish and set out to do what you want. So I graduated Cal State LA, not with honors. I was never a grade A student, but I tried and I kept going. And I did it. I graduated. And that sheet of paper, that degree, no one can take that from you. Right? Am I right? Yeah. So when times got tough and my plans that I had set out didn't go just the way I wanted, I had to take some time and breathe and shift gears, right? And then I just prayed and I let God in, because He has a plan, right? He has a plan for all of us, and He has, we have to just trust, and we have to let it be, right? We have to let it be.
Sorry to those in the back that cannot see me. I would get up on stage, but I can't. My name is Leland Rodriguez. I'm 21 years old. I'm a little nervous, just bear with me. But yeah, like you had stated, I was getting involved with the Bomb Crowds. My mother contacted Sergeant Navarez, Sergeant Navarez, asking him for help. She had felt like a failure as a mother. She didn't know where to turn. So she called Sergeant Navarez, and I got hooked up in the Pride program. I really did not want to be in Pride. Pride is about serving its community. It's a prevention program built for those that are getting involved with drugs, gangs, causing issues within the household. And I genuinely didn't want to be there tomorrow. To Arthur, really, I'm very sorry. For that interview process, I was not very nice to you guys. But midway through the program, I got caught stealing some pills and having some things in my possession that I probably shouldn't have had. Sergeant Navarez pulled me aside and bluntly told me to stop wasting the time of the city and those that are serving me, because it was an interview process. There was someone there, there was someone else that would be appreciative of my spot. And somehow that just resonated with me. I felt appreciated, I felt valued, I felt like I had potential in those words, as harsh as they were. And then after that, I really opened up to the leadership of that program. And I had so much fun and I enjoyed the love that I was receiving. I graduated from Pride and Mercedes, and Sergeant Morris asked me to come back. So for the next 2 years, I came back, not as a mentor, just as a friend to those who were in the same program that I went through, who felt alone. And it was an awesome experience. It was the beginning of my leadership experience. Shortly after that, I decided that I wanted to go to Southeast. So I decided to have a meeting with Master Sergeant Schaefer, to which he denied me because I was short 2 years of credits. So I attended El Camino. I made 2 years of credits in 6 months. And I started my second semester of my junior year, passed through that with flying colors. My whole junior year was the first year I don't think I got into serious trouble since elementary school. So it was an amazing experience. Then that summer, Mercedes Quintanillas, who was there for me since the beginning. I helped her with the Door of Hope in the first fundraiser. I've done so much with her. She took me underneath her wing from Pride program. Everything that I know in regards to leadership is thanks to her. And she asked me to be the head student leader for the first summer student leadership program in Door of Hope. And that was an awesome experience. Shortly after that, I joined, I attended Southeast Academy's NCO school, where I was assigned as a squad leader. I was in charge of 10 cadets in my squad, Alpha Company First Platoon. I had one of the largest squads in the whole entire school, and I quickly became known for having one of the best squads in the whole entire school. That's out of about 300 cadets. Thank you. Shortly thereafter, 3 months, I was given an Alpha Company position. With GSD, Get Stuff Done. I call them glorified janitors. For those who go to Southeast, you guys know that. That put me in a position where I was with a team that was in charge of 300 cadets. And there was an event that I always think of that really defined my leadership experience. I overstepped my boundary as a leader and I put someone down in a way that I shouldn't have. And I was quickly dealt with. And around the same time, I started reading the Word, the Bible. This was around the same time that I truly gave my life to Christ. And I was amazed with the leadership of Jesus Christ. And after getting in trouble and realizing that a badge doesn't represent my leadership status, my heart represents my leadership status, the way that I act with my peers represents my leadership status, I decided that I wanted to be just like Jesus Christ in how I led. So I led a very radical view of leadership within the academy. I never yelled at anyone. I was very calm, and that actually scared the cadets more. They didn't like it that I didn't yell at them. And thankfully, I graduated on top of my class. In regards to leadership, there's one award that's given to one senior that both staff and students nominate. It's someone that they felt best represented the academy in regards to its definition of leadership. And I was awarded that. It was a huge pleasure to be given that. All of that, again, thanks to my leadership that taught me. I know that I mentioned that it was Christ, it was a Christ style of leadership that I had, but that goes all the way back to Pride programs. I mean, I was surrounded by nothing but Christian leaders, and I was just too young and naive to realize it. It's not until now that I realized it. After graduating high school, I started attending a seminary and decided that I wanted to give my life fully to God, and I decided that I wanted to become a pastor. I started attending the seminary for 4 years, up until last October 16th. I was in a motorcycle accident. I was on my way to my Theo's house. Someone picked me off in traffic. I went flying about 15 to 20 feet, landed straight on top of my head like a javelin, broke my neck. I was lying on the ground, trying to get up because I know ambulance bills are very expensive, and I didn't have the money for that. I tried to get up, my legs didn't work, and I realized that I couldn't use one of my arms. I can't remember what arm it was. And I realized that I was in real trouble. I was real scared, but in the moment, like, like Matthew read, I decided to get connected to the vine. And I knew right then and there that I had to pray very defeated and weak prayer. Because those are the prayers that he listens to the most. The ones where you are extremely dependent on him. And I very quickly, because I could not breathe at all, said, Lord, I really need your help now. Just kidding. Thankfully, ambulance came, and I got to the hospital, but the fun wasn't over. With little to no pain medications, alcohol at a time, about an hour and a half. Doctors finally came in, and let me know that I had broken my neck and that in order to live, in order to live, I have to about a 6-hour surgery. That would leave me completely paralyzed for the rest of my life. With no choice, I just had to say yes. I'd rather be alive and not move than alive. So I had to put my life in the hands of God at that moment. 9 hours later, 3 hours with complications, 2 titanium rods, a fused neck, and 18 screws going down my neck. I came out of surgery, not completely paralyzed. Thank God. I just deal with I'm paralyzed below the waist with honestly a slew of medical problems, but the more I've been here, it's been extremely difficult 6 months, 7 months last week. Having to deal with the change of life with the go-getter, and still have a go-getter, but first off, I have to thank God that kept me here. The second, I have to thank my family for not giving up on me. And during my leadership, my church leadership, and knows that it came before me, whether it's Southeast, Pride, Hope, the city of Mohawk, all you guys. It all started, the only hope that I had started my freshman year when the city decided to allow me to participate in a program called Pride. That's where I was given hope that I could become different, and that's the hope that I've held on to since then. So I really thank the city for what it's done for me, the opportunity that it's given, and the opportunity that it's going to continue to give to others. Maybe a situation with me or may not be. I'm physically disabled, but I know that there are a lot of individuals who are hurting inside that need help. And this is what the city's here for. I believe this is what the board is here for. This is what everyone's here. Thanks to you guys. After this accident, I continue to push through. I just got accepted to Iowa University. I started this fall, and I'll also be coming back for the second annual student leadership program from Store Vote. I will be mentoring for them as well, and I just thank you, and I want to say that you don't know God, you don't know Jesus Christ, He loves you so much, and He wants to have a relationship with you. It's not about working towards Him. It's just about allowing Him to come in and love on you so that you have the motivation to work towards something. Thank you very much.
Next, we are going to bring up our keynote speaker for this wonderful celebration. Pastor Arthur McGibbon from the La Mirada Church of Nazareth is a stranger to no one. He has served in our community for many years. He has served the community in Norwalk since 2006 in various capacities. We'd like to bring him on stage. Would you join me in welcoming Pastor Arthur McGibbon?
Good morning. Thank you so much. It is a great day to be alive. Amen? And let me tell you why I believe that, because it's true. Let me tell you the end of the story, though. The police officer gave me a ticket. The year was 1974. I was 13 years old. It was Christmas Eve, and I had some Christmas cards that I wanted to share with some of my friends. So I set out on my bicycle to give these Christmas cards because I didn't have a car. I was only 13 years old. On my way home, I remember hearing the words, "Oh my God." I remember seeing people come out from their houses, and I was immediately drawn to them. They took me into their house, into their bathroom. I looked into the mirror and I saw something was wrong. Something was different. And there was blood coming from my nose, my chin, my mouth. My teeth had been broken and I wasn't sure what had happened. They told me I had been hit by a car while riding my bicycle. Spoiler alert, it wasn't fatal. I remember the adrenaline racing through my body as I waited for the ambulance to arrive. I remembered the comfort that I felt from the strangers that came and met me before, that I had never met before, and make a tremendous difference for me in my life. And I remember feeling sorry for my dad as he got a phone call that said he needed to come to the hospital because your son has been hit by a car riding his bicycle. I remember my dad didn't tell my mom until Christmas morning that Arthur wasn't going to go with you today. He waited until she showed up. You see, we all have what we call life-defining moments. Those moments that change everything, that actually change the trajectory of our life, that changes the plans, the dreams, the goals that we might have. But what's really important is, what do you do with that life-defining moment? Do you pick yourself up? Do you stay on the ground? Do you embrace defeat? Or do you declare, today is a great day to be alive? Say that with me today, right now. Today is a great day to be alive. You see, I often look back in those days in 1974, and what if that had been my last day? Everything that I've done up until that day from now on would not have happened. Getting married, having 2 kids, getting married again, this one lasting for the last 26 years. Year 27 looks good. It's only 338 days away, but who's counting? So many experiences, so many friendships, so many opportunities to be intentional and to add value. Being here with you today. So again, I say, today is a great day to be alive. And oh, by the way, the ticket was for making an illegal left turn on my bicycle. I want to take just a few minutes and share together and speak about life-defining moments. Today is one of those for me personally. You see, several years ago, former mayor of Norwalk, Gordon Stephenhagen, spoke to me, and he said he was stepping down as the chairman of the Norwalk Mayor's Prayer Breakfast Committee, and that he was going to recommend me to take his place. We met at my church, Gordon, the committee, myself, and Gordon introduced me and made the recommendation that I would take over as chairperson. The response was, "But we've never had a pastor lead before." I saw my exit opportunity and said, "You know, it looks like you guys might just need a few minutes to talk about this amongst yourself." I'm going to step out. I have plenty of things to do. I am certainly open to what God's will is for my life. But if you have somebody else in mind, I'm okay with that. Gordon grabbed my arm, made me sit down, and we had a conversation and unanimously agreed as a team to be a team. A life-defining moment that changed the trajectory of my life. That first Marriage Prayer Breakfast, I remember Mike Mendez giving us a call. I had recruited Mercedes. Always, if you have something to do and you need an event put together, call Mercedes. I remember Mike Mendez called us and he said, how's it going? And it's just a few weeks away. And we were struggling to get all of the financial resources that we needed. And he came by the church and I said, well, Mike, he said, what can I do for you? And I said, well, if you could just, let some people know we need to talk to them and give us a recommendation, that would be great, because we're just having a really hard time getting a hold of people. And he just kind of laughed and he got his phone out, and in about 10, 15 minutes, he had all of the resources that we needed. That was a life-defining moment for us because we saw influence, power, humility, willingness to serve, opportunity to be influential in someone's life. And the weight of this event relieved from our shoulders in a way that was just amazing. Another life-defining moment of that first breakfast was Miss Helen Brown, who was a part of our committee. And the night before we had a dinner, I left my keys in the car and I needed her to give me a ride home back to the church. And she said that she would, as long as nobody would make rumors about her driving the pastor by ourselves. That morning, we were standing here inside this very lobby this very room, and we heard a loud crash, and I thought maybe somebody had dropped a table or something, and someone said Helen had fallen. And so we ran outside, and we noticed, yes, Miss Helen had tripped and fallen into the glass, and she succumbed to those injuries later. But we had to go on. We had to continue the prayer breakfast. We found a way to do that. But it was a life-defining moment for a lot of people in her life. A lot of people in this room. Another life-defining moment from that prayer breakfast was a young lady named Maria Pinzon. I'm not sure if she's with us today or a big part of our lives. And she'd been my worship leader at our church and just sang beautifully, and what a beautiful job that was this morning as well. And she sang. I just asked her, I said, Maria, would you mind doing the national anthem for us at our prayer breakfast? And she said, sure, Pastor, no problem. It wasn't until afterwards, weeks later, that she shared with me that she was a 5-year-old little girl and she saw someone sing the national anthem. And she asked God at 5 years old, do you ever think you could let me do that? And she shared with me that was the moment that a 5-year-old little girl's prayers were answered. Life-defining moment. For me, finding Jesus at 21 was a life-defining moment. Giving my life to Christ. Realizing I grew up in Alcoholics Anonymous. My mom was a speaker and very influential in that arena. And my sister and I, we played AA at home. We always fought over who was going to be the speaker and who was going to be the secretary, who was going to make the coffee. I remember saying to myself, I want to get closer to God. I knew God. I knew of a higher power, but it wasn't personal. Met somebody who then 2 weeks later took me to church and I found Christ. And life-defining moment, changed the trajectory of my life. At 36, 37 years old, after Renee and I got married, I decided to make another career change to become a pastor. 2 things that my wife, Renee, said that she would never do. One was live in California, and 2, be married to a pastor. Well, here we are. My life passage, my ministry scripture for going into the ministry was Acts 20:28, where Paul was leaving Ephesus. And he said, take heed over the flock of which the Holy Spirit has made you an overseer of. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. It was just knowing that God had prepared me, He had equipped me, He had helped me to become what I needed to be when He was ready for me to be it. This Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on the flyer says, connected in community, building a stronger foundation for our future. What connects us in community? What foundation are we building a stronger future on? Can I propose we consider two things? Number one, we have an opportunity to be connected with each other through life-defining moments. We help create them. Sometimes they are positive and welcomed, and sometimes they are difficult and devastating. Sometimes we can walk together through them and celebrate them, and sometimes they're difficult. Sometimes people are going through life-defining moments right next to you and we don't even know it. Sometimes our yes to someone creates a life-defining moment beyond our wildest dreams. As I look over the congregation, as I look over the audience here, the power of impact and influence that is sitting here in this room is world-changing. For all the students who are here today, look around. Introduce yourself to someone that might represent the career choice that you might want to have later on in life. From law enforcement to the fire department, to business entrepreneurship, to teaching or administration, from military or being a public servant. Not a politician, public servant. The key to your life-defining moment might be here right now. One of my good friends who came with us this morning, Erica Kelly, was the 17th Command Chief Master Sergeant for the Air Force Reserve Command and the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chief of the Air Force Reserve. Erica represented the highest executive level of leadership in the United States. Not to mention, Erica has more than 27 years of government management and law enforcement experience. She served as a criminal investigator for the Department of Justice, Homeland Security. My friend, Miss Erica Kelly, if you are sitting over at that table or have an interest in law enforcement, shake her hand. My friend Kim Fuller, who is a health professional, would be glad to help you and talk with you. Dr. Lopez from the Norwalk-La Mirada School District. If you have an interest in school, and Dr. Lopez, can we get an excuse for all of the students who are going to be late? Because I'm going to go till at least 10:30. Captain Johnson from the Norwalk Sheriff Station, or any one of these law enforcement officers over there that have a career path set for themselves. My wife, Renee, a woman extraordinaire and lover of people. If you just want to know how to love people, meet with her. And Josh, a firefighter, who is faced with life-defining moments all day long. Josh was one of the responders on Leland's accident. Life-defining moments. And sometimes for law enforcement, for first responders, you get to see the worst of the worst, the most difficult of all situations. And what do you do with that? How do you self-care? So reach out. I truly believe that there is not one adult here today that wouldn't be willing to help you if they can. And that brings me to the proposal for our foundation, which is love. And there is no greater power or influence than love. So let us be a connected community through our life-defining moments as we walk alongside with each other, built on the foundation of love, and we are certain to have a stronger future. Mayor Valencia, thank you for saying yes to a request from Mercedes to have me as a keynote speaker, which is a life-defining moment for me today personally. Of all the years that we helped to put on this breakfast and just do it behind the scenes, it always been that little bit of, wonder what it would be like. And now I know. And I am grateful and honored to have been here today with you. May God bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and give you grace. And remember, life-defining moments that we share with one another can connect us in ways that nothing else might. And you just might be the one to make a difference in somebody else's life. Thank you so much.